Does your back start to ache when you've been standing for too long, when you're doing things like cooking, brushing your teeth, or even going shopping? If you're over the age of 60, then you're not alone. And in today's video, I'm going to teach you why that might be happening. And also, I'm going to show you 3 really simple fixes to overcome it. Hi, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Mike. I'm a specialist physiotherapist and I help people stay strong, fit and pain-free. And in today's video, we're talking about back pain, specifically back pain on standing. So if you're standing even for a brief period of time and you're getting backache and you're making you squirm around a bit, I'm going to tell you why this is happening and we're just going to talk through some strategies to overcome it. So there are several reasons why you might be getting pain when you stand for prolonged periods, especially as you get to the ages of 60 plus. The first reason that I see is that the muscles that secure your spine, your legs and your glutes, so your bottom muscles, just become weak. So as you get a bit older, that leads to muscle fatigue, muscle weakness, and then that enables the body to get into a position called postural stacking. And this is a position where you just kind of slouch into this position. And this is an area in which the back then becomes sensitized because you're not providing it with the stability it needs. And then you'll find that just standing for short periods of time leads to pain. The second reason that I see this is because as we get over the age of 60, we get a little bit of wear and tear, osteoarthritis. And so this leads to wearing of the joints, wearing of the shock absorption in your spine. And therefore, when you stand for prolonged periods, that shock absorption isn't quite providing you with the support that you need. So you develop some sensitization around the spine, which generates pain. And the third thing that I see commonly for this, and the third reason, is a combination of those two things, right? So you get a bit of osteoarthritis, so it leads to this downward spiral, osteoarthritis, bit of stiffness in the spine, the muscles around the spine then becomes weak, and then you start to do a little bit less, so you kind of get into this downward spiral where you're becoming stiffer and weaker, and then simple things start to become uncomfortable, like standing for periods of time, which we'll talk about now. So thankfully, there are several ways in which we can overcome this. Some really simple tips that can reduce the pressure on your spine in those situations. So let's chat through them now. Simple tip number 1 for you to overcome this is to introduce what I like to call a micro move. So a micro move is kind of what I'm doing here. So I'm just kind of shifting gently from foot to foot. Some people like to put weight on one foot for a little bit of time and then weight onto the other foot. But by shifting the pressure through your spine a little bit over time, this does reduce the overall pressure and it will reduce the sensitivity of your spinal structures, give all those muscles that might be a bit weak a chance to recover because you're using other muscle groups to take the pressure off your spine. And so when you're standing, brushing your teeth, I'd like you to stand upright to begin with, and then you can move from side to side. As I say, you might even want to just circle your hips gently. I even get people to sort of bend their knee forwards, almost like they're lifting their heel one after the other. So that's tip number 1. So simple tip number 2, again, really straightforward. You're feeling that pressure start to build on your back. The tip here is just to try and squeeze your bottom muscles. So the bottom muscles here. I want you to imagine that you're just gently squeezing. Can you see what that does to my pelvis? It actually lifts it up. And by doing so, it decompresses the spine to a certain extent. So it opens up the base of your spine. This in turn releases the pressure off the base and enables the muscles to get a bit of a rest as well. You're stretching them open quite nicely. So you could just hold that squeeze for a couple of seconds and then relax and just repeat that 5 or 6 times for some relief. If you find that you can hold that position quite nicely with that tailbone tucked underneath you, buttock muscles nice and squeezed, you can actually then just stand in that position for a prolonged period as well, especially if you're out shopping and perhaps you can't move from foot to foot as comfortably. Hold that for a couple of seconds or for as long as you like, and just repeat it as and when needed. And my final tip, which again, really straightforward to do, if you have pain when you are standing and in the absence of being able to sit down, so if you can't sit down, it's not practical, then what I would try and do is try and get a wall that you can lean against. And I'll just show you what I mean. So if I just take this wall here and I just lean my back against the wall and let my head relax back if I can. By being in this position, you'll notice that my pelvis just comes forwards very slightly. You're also taking the pressure off your back in this position and it enables your back to get some rest. So you can just kind of rest against this position for a period of time. And once you feel your back start to relieve and you feel that pressure come off that, then you're able to then carry on with the standing or walking or the rest of your day. So what you might have noticed through some of those tips is that we're trying to reduce the pressure to offload the spine in order to give you some relief. But as a bonus tip, if we can look at this from a more of a longer term perspective, what I'd ask my patients and you at home to do is to try and make yourself as fit and as strong as you can. Okay, so this sounds really hard to do, but it really doesn't have to be. So some of the strategies that we've talked about today, mobilizing your pelvis by squeezing your bottom, moving from foot to foot, just to practice those positions is a way that you can start to achieve that. But just by incorporating some basic exercises into your day, you'll start to feel a lot stronger. So there are some videos on my channel that you could check out here, and I'll link them in the description below for you to find. So there's one in particular with the 3 best exercises for over 50s, which I'd really recommend that you guys take a look at. And there's also a video on there about managing osteoarthritis, if that's you. So give these a watch as well. So that's the bonus tip. So again, try these. I'd really be interested to know how you're getting on with them. So why don't you comment in the section below about what triggers your back pain, and we have a discussion around that. I'll try and answer as many as I can. So thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the content and found it useful, I'd really appreciate if you could like the video and comment down below the bits that you've enjoyed. And for more regular updates and more regular videos from me, you might like to subscribe to get the weekly content that I'm putting out at the moment. But good luck, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.